Slightly new setup. New figure. Let's check this out. Hey, it's ZillaJab17 here, back with another video. We are on the eve of Christmas, and let's just say Christmas came a little early. Got the MonsterArts Anguirus 1972 from Godzilla vs. Gigan. And gotta say, really awesome to finally have an articulating Anguirus figure. A lot of us have been waiting for this one for a while. There really wasn't any options for an Anguirus figure, and so I remember the hype was real when MonsterArts revealed that they were making an Anguirus figure. And well, gotta say, this is my boy Anguirus in articulated form. He's looking very nice and spiky, and so far I'm liking what I'm seeing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details of our favorite ankylosaur kaiju. So looking at the eyes, appears to be more of a, I think it's a decal kind of work done here, because otherwise it's some very excellent paint work that they've done with the eyes on both sides. No derpy kaiju eyes on this guy, so very excellent there. Checking out the mouth. This guy takes care of his teeth, won't need a dentist trip anytime soon. Looking very good. Got some little mess ups here and there, but it doesn't bother me really. Looking very good. In terms of his horns, he got a nice transition from the base of his head to the tip of his horns, with some browns at the bottom going up to the bony white color that they often use with, you know, claws and horns on these figures. Same goes with the spikes throughout. It has some black wash applied to it, kind of make those details pop. Let's go ahead and take a look at the spiky back of his, and I gotta say I'm very impressed with the paintwork here. Can't imagine how long this would take to individually paint. Must have taken a while, because man, this is a lot of work, but they really pulled it off. I love the transitions from the dark colors of the back into the bony white tips of his spikes, looking very, very good. And you see that transition into his tail as well, to the tail tip spike that he has here. Very, very good. I mean, I see my boy Anguirus here. I don't really have complaints about the detail. They did very great work here. Let's go ahead and take a look at articulation. So now let's talk articulation. As you can see, I have him up in a bipedal karate, ready to jump into some kaiju combat battle form. And well, as this shows, you got some options with your Anguirus here, which I'm pretty impressed by, because it's definitely a lot more articulated and has some posing ability that I was not expecting from a Anguirus figure, if I'm being honest. So it's cool to see. A+ for me. Looking at his bony spiky back, how did they do it? How did they get it done? It is a separate piece that wraps around the main sculpt or part of the figure. It's a little shaky, too loose for my taste. I don't know if that's just me or if that's something that is experienced with all people that get this. Wouldn't it surprise me, it's just me with my luck with these things, but I believe they went with this approach so that way you just have more movement ability with his arms and legs. You get more range of motion there than you would if it was just kind of sculpted on. I don't quite know what I would prefer. I think I'm leaning more towards if this was part of the main sculpt and wasn't just so, you know, kind of loosely hanging on. Again, just could be my figure, but just showing you what I have. In terms of the head, not a whole lot of range of motion there. You could kind of twist it left and right, up and down, a little bit more motion there. It's got the hinge jaw. Arms appear to be on a socket, and you know, with my figure here, there are some hands and arms and stuff that are a little bit more stiff than the others. Like this one, I get a lot of motion. This one he does not want to budge, and I am very careful with my MonsterArts figures, because when those things pop out, they're kind of a pain in the butt to pop them back in. But same thing happened to the hand here when I first unboxed this guy, his hand popped off, and now it's pretty stiff. It doesn't like to do a whole lot of motion, whereas this hand over here, I could do get some more motion there. You're not gonna get a whole lot of crazy stuff, but you know, just some things to be aware of. Legs are pretty well articulated, given that, you know, you can switch them up from a bipedal to a quadrupedal form. You can have him do different things, like kind of what the movie, you see some scenes where he looks like this because, you know, it's a guy in a suit, or you can make it more, you know, reptilian outwards and have him up like that. The tail is, you know, pretty dang good. It's nothing crazy like the Godzilla 2000, but that I do think is newer technology. This figure came out before, but you know, it's not bad. It's pretty good considering it's Anguirus. You got some options here with how you want the tail to be posed. So pretty good stuff. Again, I think articulation's not a big concern here when it comes to this figure. They did a pretty good job with that. So scaling wise, how does this guy do with other All-Star figures? So here I have the 1954 Godzilla figure. Look at that beautiful boy started it all. I think this pretty good scaling. He's a bit shorter than Godzilla, but I think that's pretty accurate to how it is. If I'm wrong, go ahead and let me know in the comments, but I think it's pretty well done. Also, this is him bipedal. I think most people are going to have him in the all-fours quadrupedal form. I also have, of course, the amazing Godzilla 2000 from MonsterArts, and a little more closer there with their height. Well, they're both a little hunched over, but yeah, in terms of scaling, I think it's pretty well done. It's nothing too jarring that makes me kind of scratch my head a little bit like a sort of Haya figure. I'm not gonna say it, but I think you got the hint. Yeah, I mean, scaling's not the biggest deal breaker for me, but it's also, you know, I think they did pretty good. Let's get some nice full view of the figure here. Again, detail's never really been a big issue with these kind of figures. They do a very excellent job all around the figure. Nothing really stands out to me as, you know, being bad per se. I think they, again, did a very excellent job with the detailed sculpt of Anguirus. So, overall, I think it's a great figure. MonsterArts has done a great job bringing Anguirus into articulated form. It is awesome to finally have this guy join our shelves of Godzilla collecting and to be amongst his friends and foes alike. My main introduction to Anguirus was through the old games on the PlayStation, GameCube, and Xbox. Godzilla Save the Earth was the one I played the most, and I freaking loved Anguirus in that game. He was so cool, and I was a little bummed growing up seeing that he wasn't in a lot of the later media of Godzilla, although he did appear in Singular Point Godzilla, which, by the way, Bandai, MonsterArts, do you realize how much money I would give you if you made a Singular Point Anguirus figure? That guy is so cool looking in that show. So just throwing ideas out. You got your Showa Anguirus. We can go ahead and, well, I guess there's some Millennium Anguirus to do as well, but if you do Singular Point, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I think they did an excellent job with this figure. Very well articulated, as I've shown. It was more than I was expecting, and of course, details, never really a big issue with these figures. They did a very great work of showing Anguirus in figure form, so awesome stuff with that. With that said, everyone, it is almost Christmas. If you celebrate that, I hope you have a wonderful time with friends and families. I hope you get some Godzilla figures as presents and gifts that you were not expecting. Otherwise though, enjoy the time with your family and loved ones. I will see ya in the next video. Goodbye.